Welcome back on our episode on where we're talking about adulteration of palm oil in Africa and how we can build an excellent palm oil business in Africa. And we have our host here, Farmer Adiola Olajide, the Executive Director of Green Empire. So, in continuation on our episode, I would like to ask, how can we build? We've talked about adulteration, manhandling, and the health hazard caused by adulteration of palm oil in Africa. Now, can you tell us and take us through on how to build an excellent palm oil business in Africa, an excellent one and a structured one at that? Can you take us through it?
All right. Thank you very much, Kanyisola, for that question. The truth is that, in Africa here, if we truly want to build a respected, and a trusted palm oil industry, we need to stop thinking about production only. We need to start thinking about the systems that brings, palm oil from the production to the final consumer. So for me, if I would, build a resilient, palm oil system that would ensure, consistency, I'm going to look into traceability, because every food systems in the world is built on the ability for, products to be, tracked back to the source. Not that you have products and we can't track it to where it is actually being produced. So we must, I'll first of all create a traceability system whereby every batch of palm oil that is being consumed can be traced back to where it is being produced, when it was being produced, how it was handled, and the process with which it gets to the final consumer. So we need to know, and also the consumers also need to start asking questions. Yes, you need to start asking questions. If you don't just buy palm oil, you need to find out, where is this palm oil coming from? Where is it processed? Under what conditions was it processed? So when the consumers start demanding to know what they are eating, then the suppliers, the sellers will start being more responsible in that light. So then also we need to modernize our processing infrastructure, because there are very limited, infrastructure in the rural communities where these things are coming from. So we need to start investing in those infrastructure. Imagine if we have maybe an automated solarized palm oil processing plants, whereby the interference between the humans and the machines is limited. Then we'll have a pure palm oil produced under hygienic conditions. So we need to put all those things in place. We need to start looking at those rural communities. We need to start with building the right infrastructure, and we need to ensure traceability. So for me personally and our company, we are also looking at actually solving this problem at scale, because like you mentioned, palm oil is an essential component in millions of homes in Africa. So if the quality of the palm oil that is being consumed is compromised, then we are having a public health problem at scale. Yeah. So what we are trying to do right now is, we already have, networks of suppliers, verified mills that produces quality palm oil, and we have chains of networks of market sellers who are willing to sell the pure, unadulterated palm oil. So what we just need to do is to leverage on some infrastructure which we are still looking at getting, like the telecoms, the fintechs, and all of that, to come together to ensure that, okay, everybody have access to verify, even through phones that USSD phones and all those through USSD codes and all of that, they can verify their palm oil. And the truth is that incentives too should be given. Yes, incentive should be given to the honest farmers. Because imagine when we produce, let me not lie to you, like high quality palm oil is not that cheap. And the reason why most people in Africa are able to buy food like cheap is because most of our farmers, they are subsidizing food with their own poverty. They are subsidizing it. So we need to bring in structures whereby these farmers will be confident enough that, okay, I'm going to be producing high quality palm oil and I'm going to be able to have access to premium markets, good markets to it. And the consumers too should be knowledgeable about what they are consuming. They should be interested in eating good food because at the end of the day, good health is much more important than wealth. Yeah.
That's very great. That's a very interesting and enlightening moment for me, especially in the sense that one thing that you said that I can really reckon with is traceability. There are a lot of food items we consume in Africa basically that we can't even read most people don't read the ingredients of what they are eating, not to talk of trying to track it because it's cheap, basically because of the food insecurity or something. Most people are not tracing, most people are not tracing down what they are eating. So traceability is very important, and also educating the average consumer is very important. And this is why program like this is very important. It's not just for farmers, it's also for everyone who is consuming palm oil. As you are listening, this is very important for you in the sense that for you to verify whatever you are eating, because it is cheap or because it is a lot does not mean it is quality, does not mean it's not affecting your health. So which is why it is very important to build a traceable and a trustworthy agricultural system in a trustworthy palm oil production and processing system in Africa, like you said. That's a very insightful one. So in conclusion today, now we have three groups of people that are key players in this palm oil value chain. We have three group of people, which are the farmers, the regulators, which are like the middlemen, from the processor to the transporter. They are like the regulators, and also government officials, policymakers. They're like the regulator and the consumer. We have three good people. Now, if you are going to tell each one key things for them to look for, key elements for them to hold on to from this program, what would that be for each groups? Which are the farmers, the regulators, the government initiative, international initiative, international organizations like that? What will be, and also the consumers, what are the key things you're going to tell them about this?
All right, thank you, Koinsola. So what I'm going to say is for the farmers and processor, what I'll say is that you should actually protect your integrity. Like you really need to protect your integrity, like your harvest depends on it, because it truly does. If you look at the future of African markets, even the future of global market, the future at the end of the day is going to reward quality. It's going to reward consistency, and it will reward transparency. So farmers need to start seeing themselves, not just like as producers. They should see themselves as, people, important people that are actually participating in the global food system. So they should ensure little improvements in their hygienes, improvement in maybe storage, improvement in their processing standard. No matter how little they are doing, it will actually transform their product quality. So they need to actually look into that. Then for our regulators and the government institutions and all of that, what I would say is that their biggest responsibility is enforcement structure. So we cannot continue to actually treat food adulteration as something that is casual, because food security, food safety is a public concern, and regulators must actually strengthen their monitoring systems. Yes, if there are strict monitoring systems, then everybody is going to adjust. Then they must also support these local processors, like I've always been mentioning. We need rural infrastructure. Don't just give farmers seed. Do land development for them. Invest in processing machines, invest in mechanizations for them. These are extremely capital intensive things, and smallholder farmers can't actually afford those things. So they need to actually support the local processors. They should give them incentives. They should encourage traceable systems instead of most of the time we wait for problems to happen before we start acting. So we should not wait for these systems should be such that they don't have to wait for crisis before they start acting. So we need stronger collaborations. What we have been discussing today spans across agriculture, it spans across health, it spans across trade, even it spans across technology. So there needs to be collaboration. We can't, it's not going to be an isolated system, because at the end of the day, everybody eats. Whether you're in tech, whether you're in trade, whether you're in whatever sector you are in, you will eat. So there must be collaboration amongst all this, because this issue is an issue that concerns everybody. Now, you asked about for consumers, what was my message for them? It's simple, start asking questions. Yes, start asking questions. Don't just go to the market and just buy. Start asking questions. Ask them, where is this oil coming from? How is it processed? Who supply you this oil? Because once consumers start asking questions, start demanding transparency, the market will start correcting itself. Bad products will stop coming to the market. Most people start asking questions. Then moving from adulteration to excellence is everybody's responsibility. It's not going to be an isolated effort. It's going to be a collective responsibility, because we are not dealing with an isolated system here. We are dealing with an entire value chain. And like I said, if we have anybody who have bad ethics, who have bad business ethics, bad practices, these people are going to corrupt the system. So there's a need for a collaborative effort within the whole value chain. So, and yeah, and I believe that Africa, we are actually capable of building a palm oil system that is going to be globally trusted. We don't have a palm oil problem. What we just currently have is a palm oil that people can trust. Palm oil that when they take it, they know that okay, that they are sure that this palm oil, the people that processed it are people of integrity, and there are systems that is in place to verify that. And that's what we are actually working on too. We are building palm trust. And I believe with that, we'll be able to verify most of our palm oils in Africa.
I must say that's a very insightful one. I must say that's very insightful in the sense that what you said, if I want to reiterate what you said, in the sense that palm oil, building an excellent palm oil value chain is not just for one person or the government, it's for everybody, both to the farmers, that they should build they should produce with trust and with respect in their mind, and also to the government to support infrastructure development, and as well as the consumer to ask questions. That's very insightful. So before we close, I want to ask a simple question, just for maybe a layman out there who is listening, who doesn't know the meaning of adulteration, palm oil that is adulterated, as well as an excellent palm oil. Can you give us a simple difference between both of them? Explain the basic term and also how we can know an excellent palm oil. Can you do that?
Okay. Adulterated palm oil, okay, the layman is when you add something that is not good inside palm oil to increase the volume. Maybe you have a good palm oil, and that palm oil is 1 liter, and you want to increase it to 2 liters. So because you are not a good person, you have bad conscience, you want to make money, more money in a bad way, you now go and look for what are the chemicals harmful chemicals, you don't even care. You now pack all these chemicals together to increase the volume of that palm oil from 1 liter quality palm oil to like 5 liter terrible palm oil because you just want to make more money at the expense of the health of the people that will consume it. Imagine when these people consume it now, they're now having maybe kidney failure or liver failure at the end of the day, which is much more terrible. So like adulterated palm oil is bad palm oil. It's palm oil that is not good for consumption. And also identifying it, the truth is that you would agree with me that palm oil has a strong color profile.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a strong color profile. So merely just looking at, palm oil, it is red, like red and all of that. You may not be able to say that this is a good palm oil or this is a bad palm oil from just saying. But then there are different other ways that we can look at it. There are other ways we can look at this. You can from the smell, then from the texture, when you cook it, but most importantly, traceability. Where is the oil coming from? Because if you can't, point to where this thing is coming from, then it is not really safe. But if now, okay, this palm oil is coming from the farms of Farmadiola, you can trace it, for example. And if it is well labeled, you can trace it. But if you can't trace it, you don't know anything about it, then you should be careful. You should ask more questions. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was a very wonderful and insightful one. We are so happy to have you. And to the general public, I hope we've been able to learn one or two from this episode on how to know an adulterated palm oil and also the issues that consuming adulterated palm oil can cause, as well as how to build an excellent palm oil business in Africa. We've come to the end of this episode, and we are so glad to have you once again, Farmer Adiola Olajide. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope we'll see more of you on this program, as well as our audience. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. Thank you for listening. We hope that you start asking questions if you are a consumer, and also if you are a policymaker or a regulator. We hope you would contribute your own quota to ensuring good processing infrastructure for farmers in Africa. And also, if you are a farmer, we hope you will build a trustworthy and produce trustworthy palm kernels that can give us trustworthy palm oil in Africa. Thank you so much once again. We've come to the end of this episode, and let's remember, agriculture is one of the greatest opportunities for economic and, in general, health, every area in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on our next episode. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.